hello. I have been absolutely terrible at filming this vlog this week. It's now Saturday, and the reason is because I have had a lot of work to do, and I've been focusing on that, and that's been fairly stressful. I have quite a lot more work to do, but I'm confident that if I can get into the zone, I can get it done to the standard that I want. I've changed my framework. I mentioned on Twitter, actually, I don't know if any of you follow me on Twitter, but I mentioned that I was changing my framework, so that's what I've been working on this week. And this is the thing with academia, like a lot of the time goes into thinking about what makes sense, you know. It's not like I can just sit down and write all the stuff. I've been working on a new framework, and that takes a lot of reading and a lot of thinking to be coherent, and then the writing bit is not actually the bit that takes the most time. So now I'm at the writing bit, I hope that I can get it done sufficiently. But I find it's difficult to actually convey the complexity of something in your mind on paper in a way that really gets the point across and also reads well. You know, sometimes you read something and it's so elegant and you just think, wow, I wish I could put something across in that way, you know. It's been a really nice week. I've had some really interesting conversations and like just enjoyed, you know, spending time with people and talking about their projects and hearing what they're doing and being inspired by that. I'm just in the garden and I'm going to show you, there's an amazing view. There's some horses who are cute and an amazing dog next door. I don't know where he's gone. I'll try and get him on camera. He's a Great Dane. Isn't he the best? Hey, how you doing? You alright? We don't know what his name is because we don't know who his owners are, but he's the coolest dog ever. Hey babe, come here. He's a good boy. Hey Kate. You see Kate in there? Sorry, I'm filming. Hope you don't mind.
I'm eating.
What are you doing other than eating?
I'm editing my blog post for Parenting for Digital Future.
Very nice. And what's this particular blog post about? Sorry, I've really like cornered you whilst you're eating and working.
It's about adults' digital literacy, recent Ofcom report, and the gender differences.
Interesting. And when is that likely to go live? Do you know?
Next month.
Nice. I will link it below.
Oh, great.
Maybe. I mean, by the time, this will probably be up in less than a month. But why not? People might be interested to know what people are actually working on here. We're not just having fun. We are doing work. Hey, Rich.
You're in Flu Med's Diet of Champions.
I feel like that's a really terrible combination.
Probably. I should
How ill are you?
I feel like shit.
Is the beer gonna...
I don't know.
What's gonna happen?
It might take ages.
You might just fall asleep.
That'd be great.
Great.
Do not give to children under 16 years. This could be dangerous.
So, like, I feel that we need to reject capitalistic ideas of power because power is relative. So, like, saying someone has a certain amount of capital is really problematic unless you put it into the context of, like, how much capital other people have. Because it's always that relativity that strikes power. Oh, hi, Zoe. How's it going?
Hi. This is what media students do on writing retreats. Take pictures for Instagram? Is this for Instagram?
This is for everything.
For everything. Hello, Richard.
Hello.
This is Richard. What are you doing?
I am reading all of my books so that I can...
All of your books.
All of my books.
Can I put them in the thing?
Yes.
So this is the one you finished, right?
That's been the last 2 or 3 days, yeah.
Yeah, and was it good?
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed it.
And what are you looking at now?
And this is...
Importing conflict.
Yeah.
And can you tell me what your PhD is about, just like briefly?
I am studying journalists who work in South Sudan, and the 2 things I'm kind of interested in is, the one is why is it so hard to report on a conflict like that gets ignored? So, you know, danger of money, there's a whole bunch of things that kind of make it really hard to tell stories from there, especially to an international audience. So I talk to these people and kind of find out why. And the other one is kind of going to a place like South Sudan or Syria or Somalia or Chad to look at other people's suffering, so you can like record it or photograph it or write about it for money on a simplistic level, feels a little bit like ethically icky. And so what is it that we think that journalists aren't being icky, voyeuristic sorts of people when they do this work. And so what I'm trying to like scratch out in my PhD is kind of why do we think that? Like, what is it about their work and the work of people who do that sort of witnessing that justifies looking at suffering? Because there seems to be the sense that this is like okay under some circumstances, but we're not very clear on like what those circumstances might be.
And you spent 3 months in South Sudan doing fieldwork.
I did. That was fun.
Can you just tell us what you did? Like you were spending time in the field. Who did you talk to?
So the overwhelming majority of it was interviews, was talking to journalists from South Sudan and kind of internationals, so journalists from overwhelmingly America, the UK, but also other parts of the world who kind of come in and out of South Sudan to do reporting or who live there to do reporting. All of these groups and kind of asking them these questions of what makes your life so hard, like your reporting so hard from this place, and given that, why do you do it? Like what justifies you like continually coming back to these places and looking at the different kinds of stories that people would tell me, depending on whether they were men or women, whether they were international or like South Sudanese journalists, what kind of organizations they work from, like how these sorts of things might have affected the responses they gave. And then, which I kind of hadn't expected going in, was the kind of very, to be academically wanky, embodied nature. So like things like emotions, exhaustion, you're working in 42-degree heat, you're worried that the government is going to steal your hard drive and all of this material. All of this stuff kind of like really gets in the way of trying to make the kinds of decisions that someone who sits in Spain with a glass of wine might say, ethical journalists ought to behave this way and do these things. But actually there are very good reasons that are around like physical, like your ability to just function in these spaces, that people don't do what we would like people to do ethically all the time. So yeah, that was the tail part of my research, and that was useful both because it made me see a bunch of things that I wouldn't see unless I'd like been in the space, worked every day, been hungry, blah blah blah. But also that it meant that when I go through my interviews and I look at what people say, and people say, gosh, it was hot and I was hungry and I felt scared, blah blah blah. You don't really make sense of those words when people say them in quite the right kind of a way until you have had some taste of like what anxiety might be like in that context, what hot means, what it means to confront a soldier with a gun. Like until you've had some sort of experience, like the reference points just aren't there.
Yeah, and that's like the classic. That's like the classic point of participant observation, is that you can kind of understand the world from the point of view of the people that you're trying to study, basically. Well, thank you, Richard.
No worries.
That's very interesting. You will be in the vlog.
Awesome.
Cheers.
Charles.
This is the first time I've had everyone in the vlog, just saying. Hi! Hi! This is the first time I've ventured from the house in a week. Yes, really. I know, it's pretty sad. Who knows where we're going?
We are on our way to this fantastic local Spanish restaurant to experience the cuisine of this country. I am George Mayer, I'm your host today. And I take you to La Cocina Española.
I didn't actually introduce you. This is Miriam.
Hi, how are you?
They can't respond. I mean, they can.
You know,
in the
type back
comments.
in the comments, email me at Miriam Rahali.
Ooh.
We're good. Yeah.
Wow, the dogs are really aggressive around here.
They sense us.
So Miriam hasn't been in the vlog till now because she just joined yesterday?
Yes, just yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday. Yeah. You're just here for the weekend.
Yeah.
So, living the life.
Living the life.
Yeah. You're not scary. Don't know who you're kidding.